Welcome everybody. Happy July 18th. And let's go over the agenda today. So first and foremost, we have a lot of new great staff members who we'll introduce, and Courtney will lead us through that introduction. Spoiler alert, there is a great question and answer section that new staff members are going to respond to. Can't wait. We'll hear a client story. Connie McWilliams and from Florida RAF and Sam will lead us through that client story. Tim will speak with some important updates. We'll have our Q2 scorecard update from Dulcie. We'll also go through a program spotlight. Andy will lead us through disaster response and update on hurricane barrel response. Also, transformation update and Kaizen committee work. Anya will lead us through that, and then we'll hear from the team leads, Brandon with the people committee, Nicole with the process committee, and Kristen with the technology committee. We have some new tech tips that Kristen will talk to us about. Of course, as always, HR updates, and then some great shout outs. So great agenda today, full agenda. Let's go ahead and get started. I will invite Courtney to take over and lead us through the new staff member welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. I cannot see no one. Let me see. Kyle, is this on presenter view or something? Or is that me? Do I have to control that myself? Oh, well, I just won't see anyone. Kyle, you're on mute.
Sorry,
All right.
are other folks able to see the slide deck?
No, I can see the slide deck. I just can't see
Okay.
the people.
Oh, gotcha.
Me,
Okay.
Kristen. Okay, that's fine. It's me. So I'm going to there we go. Maybe I can see myself a little bit and some people. Okay, I see some Andys, some Mikes, some Sams. Okay, so I am going to have the new hires introduce themselves as we usually do. They're going to introduce just again name, position, either where they're from or maybe where they're living right now. And as always, we have a question for them to answer, and this is what I selected for this time. So the question is, and I have it here because I didn't want to forget it. So while they introduce themselves, the question is, if you could go back in time 10,000 years ago to the Stone Age and make a cave painting to completely confuse everyone in the future of mankind, what would you draw? So we're going to start with Maggie, and we'll just go through the list. So go ahead and start y'all's introductions.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm a resilience fellow in North Carolina, and I currently live in Durham, North Carolina. I think I would paint the musical score to Mary Had a Little Lamb. Hopefully, like they would be like, "What is this art?" And then somebody random one day would be like, "Oh, what?" Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Borson. I'm a group manager for the Fellows Program. I think I would, coming from an urban planning background, I think I would draw some modern infrastructure, advanced infrastructure, and maybe even some resilient adaptation infrastructure.
What can I do for you?
Oh, Siri. Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Gardner. I am the other Fellows Group Manager, originally from the Bronx, now currently living just outside of Tampa, and similar infrastructure sort of related. I would draw New York City skyline. How to do it. Empire State Building, One World Trade Center, all of the above.
Thank y'all. Look, Jasmine, I believe, is out of the office today. So Pia, if you could kick us off next.
Sure. I'm Pia Orense, Director of Communications, and I live in Southern California. And if I would draw a person with a jetpack, because then once archaeologists find it, we'll all be wondering, what, Neanderthals could fly, or they had the technology? What is this?
Ricardo, you there? You know what? He might not be. There's like a list in my head I'm keeping. I think he has an appointment today. So Will, you're going to finish us up because Madeline Dotson, Maddie, is our resilience fellow in Mobile, but she's also out today. So Will, why don't you just bring it on home for us, please.
Well, it looks like your audio is not working. Unfortunately, it's still not, but we can definitely circle back to you. If you do go down to I think probably the bottom of your screen and see the audio button, you can click on the little arrow that goes down, and it should say like select a microphone, and typically it's like external, or I'm sorry, internal or external microphone. That should get it running, but if not, no worries. We will absolutely circle back to you later on in the meeting. Thank you all. Courtney, thank you so much. I know we have a couple people out today, but we will certainly ask them the question and send out their responses because I am also very curious. So welcome, new team members. Fantastic to have you. All right, Sam, would you please lead us through our client story for the day?
Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Sam. I am a case manager for the RAF program in Florida. And today I want to talk a little bit about one of our homeowners that we've been working with, Miss Connie McMillan. Miss McMillan's home was damaged during Hurricane Ian. She had trees fall on the roof, water entered and essentially all of her ceilings into her kitchen. And the home was left almost unlivable. She had lived in that home for over 20 years, and it was originally her mother's who had passed it down to her. Miss Connie is very active in her community. She had recently retired at the time of the storm, but for years she worked as a grant writer and managing different grants in the Volusia County area, and even at her alma mater of Bethune-Cookman. For everyone who was at the welcome home party yesterday that we had for Miss Connie, I think you're all able to see kind of the joy that she carries herself with and how everyone around her always tends to have a smile on their face. But after the storm, you know, she had done everything she was supposed to. She had maintained her homeowner's insurance. She went through the proper channels with them. And then after a delayed response, they barely gave her enough to even start some of her work. So she was left with a roof that was badly damaged, mold throughout the home, water damage, her AC wasn't working. And the only real kind of program that was left in the area was Volusia County's Community Development Block Grant. While she was eligible for that grant, it was going to be a long process for her to actually receive the construction assistance that she needed. Luckily, SBP was able to connect with Miss Connie in the county, and we were able to first ensure her eligibility. Our construction team did a tremendous job of estimating and then completing the entirety of her work, which included, as I said, flooring throughout the front of the house. There was mold and water damage throughout. And to be able to walk through with her and everyone who was a part of that yesterday and see the difference and see the smile on her face, and hear her kind of talk about her plans for the home was just a really great experience. And we're excited to submit her application to Volusia County for all of the costs of that project to be fully reimbursed. So yeah, thank you to everyone who was a part of putting that together, Alex and Brian, for, you know, doing such great work. The home looked beautiful. Thank you to Caitlin for organizing and comms team. But we're really excited to welcome her back home, and excited to continue with the RAF program in Florida.
A great update, Sam. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right, Tim, you are next, sir.
All right, can you hear me? Okay. Good morning, everyone. I have been in my role for about 90 days so far, so I just want to give everyone a bit of an update on how I am spending my time. So, over the last few months, I've been working with the leadership team, thinking about how do we help even more people, right? We all agree that kind of helping more people is a good thing. And when we think about helping more people, we naturally think about how do we scale the organization, right? And a lot of our thinking has been about that. And we need to, in order to scale, we're going to need to make just a few tweaks to the design of the organization to make it easier for us to scale. And so that's why I just kind of want to talk a little bit about today. You can go to the next slide. But before I get into the details of that, let me just talk about why it matters. Other than the obvious thing that I just said, hey, if we scale, we get to help more people. That's a good thing. But there's some great byproducts of scaling that makes our lives a lot easier. So by helping more people, our reputation grows, right? And when our reputation grows, people tend to trust us more. And we know the importance of trust in what we do in helping clients, right? So that's a good thing. Also, right now we spend a fair bit of time persuading people to let us help them, right? Because of the trust issue. But as we get bigger and become more well known, people will come to us, right? They'll have heard about us. And so the amount of energy and money required to find the next person to help goes down. Marketing costs go down in business speak. And that's a good thing, right? And it's not just marketing costs. If we are with the same equipment able to, build more homes, the cost of building a home goes down, albeit incrementally, but costs go down. So those are all good things, kind of a virtuous circle, if you will. It gets cheaper to help people, which it makes easier for us to help more people then, right? So that's why scale matters. So if you go to the next slide, let me just talk about our organization and hopefully you already know this, but SBP is roughly 100 full-time employees and about 50 AmeriCorps volunteers. If you go to the next slide, and what we do for 100 people or 150 people is pretty impressive, right? Laudable for sure. We have a national footprint. We're doing a lot of things in a lot of places, which again is impressive, but because of the number of employees and where we're at, it makes it really hard to scale, right? It makes it hard to deploy a lot of resources in a lot of places in order to grow. So if you go to the next slide. So in order to scale, and I'll put it succinctly like this, we need to apply more focus on fewer things in fewer locations, okay? And in terms of scaling, what I'm talking about is scaling in the medium term. Let's call it 1 to 5 years. That's kind of the time frame that I'm talking about here. But let me be super clear, or try to be super clear on what I mean here, and especially on what I don't mean here. What I'm not suggesting is less work. When you see fewer things, that doesn't mean less work, quite the opposite. We will be doing as much work, if not more, than we're doing today. We will continue to operate all the programs that we operate now. So what I'm not saying here is eliminating any programs or any jobs. Please do not interpret fewer things as that. What we are doing is thinking some of the metrics of success upon which we measure our programs, right? In order to scale, our programs need to do a better job of supporting one another. Right now, they are designed a little bit too independently. And so if we measure the success of the programs in a way that they support the next program, every program gets a little bit easier, right, in terms of achieving that success. We always need to keep in mind kind of our high-level core things, like How is what I'm doing helping people get back into their homes faster? Or how is what I'm doing preventing people from having to leave their homes in the first place? Our programs cannot and should not act as independent kind of business entities. They need to reinforce this core and the other programs around it. So I guess you should interpret fewer things as having kind of fewer measures of success and never losing sight of kind of the core mission of what we have. So that's what we're talking about. Lastly, do not interpret in fewer locations as a reduction in ambition. It is not. This is again, a 1 to 5 year focus thing. We continue to have nationwide and even international ambitions to help as many people as we possibly can. But to achieve that ambition, it'll probably take another 5 to 10 years, right? And the path to achieving that long-term ambition requires us to pull back just a bit right now, because currently we're spread just a little bit too thin. If you can go to the next slide. So let me talk a little bit about what I mean on fewer places. This map you see here, I imagine most of you are familiar with it. It is the FEMA map for hurricane risk. And if you look at kind of the red area, those are the high risk areas for hurricanes to occur or to hit. Those are the places where we need to focus more on, right? So rather than a nationwide footprint, over the medium term, we're going to focus on these 8 kind of hurricane-prone states. And by concentrating our effort in those few places, we naturally become a bigger player in each of the areas where we focus. So, for example, right, like if this year we're just building a few homes in South Carolina, it's hard for us to influence any sort of government policy that might help our clients. It's easy for state Congress people to kind of ignore our advice. But if we're building 1,000 homes every year in South Carolina, it's much easier to get their attention, right? It's easier for us to influence state policy in a way that'll make it easier for our clients to get home quicker, right? It'll become easier for us to help more people. It's kind of a virtuous circle upwards, right? That's the idea, right? We need to pull back just a little bit, concentrate our efforts in fewer places in order to scale. But to be clear, we're not discontinuing any of the work we're doing now. Like, we will finish out whatever commitments we have made in places other than these 8 states. All right. But when looking at new opportunities and places to deploy new resources, we're going to look to these 8 states first. That's what I'm talking about. Again, our ambition remains nationwide, but the path that we're going to take over the next 1 to 5 years in order to achieve that greater ambition is kind of what I've just talked about. So if you go to the last slide, I will leave you with this thought. Right now, we are that fish on the right. We have chosen our decision prior to today to choose the big footprint, the big pond, if you will. And we are little fish in that big pond, and we're spending a lot of energy swimming around, telling everyone what we're doing a lot of things. What we want to do is shrink our pond a little bit. We want to become the guy on the left, right? We can deliberately shrink that pond scale such that everyone in that smaller pond knows who we are, right? And if there's a disaster somewhere, they know who to talk to. And we become that player. And as we get big, like this guy on the left, it's easier for us to increase the size of our pond. So I'll leave you with that image. And that is what we're trying to do. So if you hear conversations about it, this is the thinking behind it. If you have any questions, ask your manager. I've talked to all the senior managers and about this, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you have. And if they aren't able to answer it, please reach out. I'm happy to answer any of those questions. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Kyle.
Fantastic, Tim. Thank you so much. All right, so Dulcie, you are up next to lead us through Q2 now that we are in July and Q2 is closed out. Please let us know how we did on our scorecard.
Thanks, Kyle. And thanks, Tim, for that kind of grounding and visioning. It's energizing to hear. I get the next few minutes to bring everybody up to speed on progress towards our program's top level goals for the year. And to call back to what Tim just shared, and as you can see on the slide here, SBP is doing a ton. Amongst a ton within each program, a ton geographically, we're doing a lot. And while there are some areas within our programs where we're drifting behind on, overall as an organization, we're generally on track at this midpoint in the year. I'm actually not going to take this time right now to go bullet by bullet and read everything for you guys, but I do invite you to individually take time to just exercise that curiosity. If there's something on this slide that you want to understand more deeply, I feel comfortably volunteering our program and service leads to share that with you. They would be happy to have one-on-one conversations because they're proud of the work that their teams are doing. So don't be a stranger and reach out to anybody on the team. What I'd like to spend the next few minutes doing instead is just highlighting a couple of updates from a couple of programs that have really, where I've been focusing kind of my attention and where it's kind of stuck with me as I've been in this new role the past few weeks. Just because I'm gonna highlight a few doesn't mean that other programs aren't doing great things. I'm just gonna kind of pick and choose a couple of things to talk about. First, our share team of Angela and Mackenzie. They have been and continue to foster a partnership with this organization called World Education Services. And WES is a nonprofit who ensures that immigrants, migrants, and refugees are recognized appropriately for their academic and professional experiences. And why, the reason I think this partnership is neat is that it is centered around grant making that is truly equitable and equitable for under-resourced communities who are most vulnerable to disasters. And I think at SBP, we could probably expect to see our grant making approach to kind of mimic this in the future. We're going to move to Florida here. So two things coming out of Florida that I want to highlight is first is at the helm of Andy, but with tremendous execution by Cam, Dara, Leanne, and others, our Hurricane Ian build program will be sunsetting in the next few weeks. They have collectively completed hundreds of homes. And so please take some time in the chat to show them some love for this work that's impacted, like I said, those 200 plus families in Florida. Something else to celebrate coming out of Florida is the recent 7-figure investment by Maycomb Capital. And this investment is going to further advance our RAF program in Florida that supports those residents in Volusia County. So another big win in Florida. Andy is going to dive into our response plan for 2024 here next, but briefly, I just wanted to acknowledge some deep intentionality and collaboration that I've got to witness among the comms and development teams who have taken this planning process thoughtfully to ensure that those key functions of fundraising and messaging are going to operate as smoothly as possible when it comes time for them to be engaged this disaster season. So you're really going to see that collaboration and impact really come to life this disaster season. And then lastly, I want to encourage you to keep your eyes and ears open for a project that is brewing in the Prepare program in partnership with Liberty Mutual. In partnership with them, we're co-creating a digital experience that will focus on increasing resiliency among the product's target users. And so we're in the very, very early stages of this project, but I would expect it to have a large reach, just given Liberty Mutual's technical expertise, but as well as Helen and team's existing partnerships and just the existing training content that exists out of our preparedness program. I'm going to leave you with that. But like I said at the top, do not be a stranger when it comes to connecting with your colleagues to look to learn more about what's going on in their programs. And thank you to everyone on the team for a strong showing these first 6 months of the year. Kyle, back to you.
Dulcie, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Andy, I would invite you to lead us through some program spotlights around response.
Excellent. Thank you, Kyle, and thank you, Dulcie. My name is Andy Stofflith. I am our Senior Director of Recovery Programs, and really my role here at SBP is working with our response teams to focus our programs based on some kind of identified criteria and how we both show up in new communities and the programs that we are going to position for helping those impacted individuals in that community. Two, then transitioning how those programs shape our long-term recovery approach. With great kind of forecasting and visioning from Tim earlier, we kind of understand how we're going to be approaching this through the next few years. And my role is kind of translating and transcribing that vision into our response function, because that is ultimately how we're going to begin to shape this new direction, right? So as new disasters happen, we have to have a very, very kind of targeted approach to be successful in being a big player in a smaller playing field. So to that end, one of the things that we've worked on and want to be very clear and transparent about to the whole organization is how we're focusing on goals for 2024, so that all of us have, again, a crystal clear understanding of what is priority for SBP when the next storm happens. And for that, it is going to be establishing FEMA appeals through our DAP program to serve 1,000 homeowners this year, 2024 hurricane season. We are also going to position the RAF program for its next iteration and scaled programming. So again, we have a focus on DAP, we have a focus on RAF. And lastly, we're going to open a new build site that's going to be positioned to do 100 homes within the first year. So by kind of constraining in and saying, like, these are 3 things that we have to ensure happen in a new disaster impacted community, we will be much more successful in orienting the greater organization, and program leads, development, communications. Everybody's going to be pushing in the same direction. The way that we're going to do this, the mechanism, is our decision-making matrix. And I can share this in our SOP out with everyone after this meeting. But the way we're looking at it is identifying disasters as they're coming in our kind of target states and saying, do they hit a certain threshold? Are we trying to kind of push for programs that are going to be very hard to implement because the extent of the damage or the vulnerability of the community isn't going to be easy for us to do programming and ultimately to scale our programs? So we're using this to focus how we deliver the programs that we are going to focus on, that are going to be pre-identified with a variety of different criteria that will make very clear sense. And lastly, what we're going to do, as Tim alluded to, is we're going to narrow our focus to 8 states. And those states are going to be Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, North and South Carolina. And by having that approach in those well-known and well-documented and data-supported communities where we know big storms are going to hit, we are also going to be able to position ourselves to show up, to focus on these 3 goals, using our criteria to make sure that we're not overextending ourselves in smaller events and then something happens and we don't have the capacity to ultimately provide programming at scale that helps the truly the most vulnerable population. So we will share the SOP after this meeting. I want to quickly kick it over to Ryan, our Director of Response, who's going to talk through our Hurricane Beryl response and what all that entails. And then Ryan, you can kick it back to Kyle after that. But thank you all. I'm very excited for 2024. with our laser focus kind of on response and setting up this kind of next 1 to 5 years and ultimately being able to scale programming through that mechanism.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Andy. My name is Ryan Morgan. I'm the Director of Response. Hurricane Beryl was a good opportunity for us to test out the tiers and see how they will work within our new system. Hurricane Beryl first impacted the Barbados and then Jamaica as a Category 4 and eventually impacted Southeast Texas as a Category 1. It made landfall last Monday at Matagorda, about 150 miles east of Corpus Christi. And then made its way through Southeast Texas, eventually affecting about 17 counties that were eventually declared a IA declaration by the president. Once it made landfall, it was not a significant storm as far as damage goes. It was a Category 1, 6 to 8 inches of rain, 4-foot storm surge with about a sustained wind of about 70 miles per hour with gusts of 92. The significant damage that it caused was to the power grid. It left Houston, the Houston metropolitan area, with about 3 million without power. By Friday, it had about half of that number had been restored, and as we sit today, about 250,000 people still are without power. That is the major issue. It did not cause significant flooding. The wind damage that it caused was due to what caused down power lines, down trees falling on homes, but no significant flooding. With that being said, we categorize it as a tier 3, which you guys will learn about more. The SOP tier 3s for us is low-level storms that are federally declared. So your Category 1 or 2 hurricane, EF1, EF2 tornadoes, and county-sized flooding, but it did not meet the significant damage thresholds. As we sit today, we have about 160,000 people who have received FEMA applications assistance. And that number is still growing pretty quickly since the declaration. Right now, we are working to provide disaster assistance, application assistance through FEMA with our DAT team, as well as provide Recovery 101 training through our SHARE team. We have a short list of people that we're looking to help, and we're working that as we speak. So with that being said, I will pass it back to Kyle.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the update, Ryan. Really appreciate it. So next up, we have Anya, who will give us the start of our transformation update and Kaizen committee update.
Thanks, Kyle, and thanks, Ryan, and to the whole team that's working on our response efforts in Texas. I know your efforts mean a lot to that area. To those who I haven't met yet, my name is Anya Conlon. I am SBP's Chief of Staff. I'm going to take just a moment today to provide an update on our transformation work, and then I'm excited to hand it over to the team that's leading one of our transformation efforts to give an update on our Kaizen committees. So as we continue this process and we now reach a 6-month milestone and the conclusion of Ron's tenure as our interim Chief Transformation Officer that really got this work launched, I want to keep this whole staff group aligned around what transformation means for SBP. It's really about becoming a more focused, impactful, and disciplined organization so that we can achieve better results for the communities that we serve, while also evolving into a more rewarding place to work for every member of this team. And so in terms of shifting the way that we're working, we're really striving toward an organization that has a high trust and collaborative culture, one that's planful. It embodies our values of continuous learning and continuous improvement. And maybe most importantly, it's inclusive. We've made some notable progress over the last 6 months, certainly within the leadership perspective, within building the foundation for some of our larger HR initiatives that will take time to roll out, but for which the foundation and this initial work is so important. And then notably with the launch of the Kaizen committees. Before we go deeper into those committees and as we take a pause again to reflect on transformation, I want to note and reinforce that this process can feel slow and squishy and maybe a little bit imprecise, but our approach to transformation is really seeking to be targeted and thoughtful and built on our values. And so with that in mind, and as we go about this process, if any of you have questions or curiosities about where we are or where we're going, please reach out. We're all on the same team here. We're aiming at making the world just a little better. And we want you all to feel connected and oriented to what that looks like and SBP in this transformation process and what we're transforming into. So please take this update that we'll provide here, but don't hesitate to reach out to learn more. Before I turn it over to the team that's leading the Kaizen committees, for those who are new or haven't been a part of this process, the intent of our Kaizen committees is really to institute and embody our transformational commitment of building a culture of continuous learning, trust, and collaboration. These committees are focused on people, process, and technology, which are 3 areas critical to our work and our future growth that Tim spoke to. They're led by 3 team leads, supported by an executive sponsor from the senior leadership team, and populated by 7 to 12 members of this team from all different departments who volunteered their time. The committees are tasked with putting forward 2 or 3 proposals over the course of a 12-week span to address needs that they identify in their group within the focus area. The committees will be focused, because we can't boil an ocean, on prioritizing where they see the greatest opportunity for impact over the next 6 months. And so the terms will conclude at the end of this month, at which point each group will convene and present their proposals to the leadership team, who will determine which proposals we'll move forward with, and then we'll assign a team to execute and begin implementing throughout the remainder of this year. Before I hand it over to the process team, I just want to say a big thanks to all of you who have participated, especially Nicole and Kristen and Brandon, who have really spearheaded from the team lead perspective, all of you who are spending your time, not just to help us identify where we have areas of need, but also to commit yourself to helping envision how we would solve that, is really what helps make this transformation work. And so thank you, and thanks for helping inform how we'll institute this Kaizen process into our work in the future. So with that, I will hand it over to Nicole.
I had to figure out how to unmute myself. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are today. For those that don't know me, I'm Nicole Asphodeides. I am the Director of Financial Operations at SBP, but I'm here today to talk to you guys about the process committee. Anya did a nice intro on us. We're the Kaizen process committee. Our executive lead is Thomas. Our committee consists of 9 staff members who volunteered, and we represent 8 different departments around the organization. So we have myself, Andy, Angelina, Helen, Ian, Jill, Josh, Maxine, and Megan. Our objective is to identify 2 to 3 processes and present a proposal requesting the organization invest in implementing some or all of those processes. We started out with 31 process ideas. We quickly realized there were many overlapping themes. This shows that across the organization, people were having the same or similar challenges. The themes were orientation, transparency, client experience, risk, storytelling, training, and leadership. Ultimately, our committee chose to present on 3 process ideas from 3 of these themes. We broke out into subcommittees and are working on a written proposal and a presentation to senior leadership. Our first proposal will recommend that the organization implements a process that adds consistency and accountability to the training process at SBP. Training is after a team member is oriented into the organization and starts to learn the specifics of their position. This process will outline who is responsible for developing a training plan and include a way for the supervisor and employee to share feedback and progress. The second proposal is to streamline the storytelling process across the organization, providing a clear and efficient process from start to finish that results in an impactful client story. The third process is to implement cross-level one-on-ones throughout the organization. Cross-level one-on-ones are meetings where an employee has a direct meeting with their manager's manager. These meetings have been proven to foster relationships, assist in career development, provide added transparency, aid in early problem identification, help align an employee's efforts with the leader's vision, and build organizational trust. This committee has given the 9 of us an opportunity to work together and be a part of SBP's transformation. We're excited and maybe a little nervous about our final presentation in August. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And next, I would invite Brandon to lead us through the People Committee update.
Thank you, Kyle. Good morning, everyone. I actually want to double back and thank Kyle again for being our executive sponsor on the People team. The team members that really deserve the special shout out for all the fruitful conversations are Andrea, Angela, April, Ava, Courtney, Jasmine, Jessica, JR, Juliet, Kristen, Lily, and Leanne. So you can see we kind of have strength in numbers, as I've been calling it. And the areas essentially that we're looking to address are in recruitment, orientation, onboarding, employee engagement, company culture, and DEIB. We've been having a lot of really fruitful conversations, and in conjunction with that, we began talking with Dr. Lori to ensure that we're sort of working parallel with her, but not doing the same exact work. And the proposal structure that we'll eventually land on has been sort of delineated between short, medium, and long-term or iterative interventions. So we're looking forward to sharing back with the broad team on where we land with those proposals. Thank you again, Kyle.
Fantastic, Brandon. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's participated in the Kaizen committees. Your dedication in taking up, another task outside of your regular duties at SBP, like, speaks volumes. So just thank you for leading us in change and having your voice heard. All right. So I believe we have tech up next. And Kristen, could you walk us through the tech update, please?
Absolutely. So I'm Kristen Matlian. I am SBP's Senior Technology and Project Manager. I'm in the unique position in the Kaizen committees of being the executor for the more narrowly defined area that my committee is in. So I feel like I have a secret advantage here. I've been working with members of nearly every department on our committee that includes 12 of us. So it's Brittany Amboyan, Jennifer Beaver, Brian Dubert, Brianna Jane, Katie Malucci, Tiffany Osborne, Chanel Robertson, Mike Sullivan, Anna Troutwin, Mackenzie Winninghoff, and Grace Zell. I feel really lucky to be working with all of these people. Everyone's perspectives have been enlightening, and we have discovered a lot of common ground and also a real diversity in needs among the organization. We, in true spirit of technology, our process worked a little bit differently in that we all put our ideas together and then used ChatGPT to narrow down our topic areas and look for themes. From there, we nominated things to pursue, and there's an idea of inevitability about all 4 of the focus areas that we came to. So the team decided to do proposals on all 4 of these areas. The one that got the most votes from our team was construction software. Specifically, our proposal will focus on Procore, but we're excited to pursue this further as it's been piloted by the Florida RAF team, and it's really effective. The other one, some of you may have participated in some initial work done by Brittany, is Slack, communication software in general, trying to clean out our inboxes a little bit. And then data sharing and access. There's generally a theme between all of these about access and equity of access to resources, including data and physical devices, which brings us to phones and Wi-Fi, making sure that everyone has equal access to the same resources. In addition to these 4 areas, something that we've done is we've tried to do some quick wins. So a lot of the technology solutions we're coming up with by nature are just going to take longer. A good implementation of software is going to take a little bit longer than some of these process things because we have to build the process out in addition to the software itself. So to make sure that we're feeling impactful, one of the things we're doing is quick wins. So you might have seen, for instance, the global email signature that we worked in conjunction with comms to roll out that matches our new website design, or doesn't require you to update your own signatures anymore. Another thing I'm excited to tell you guys about is we've simplified URLs for accessing important links. So for instance, we'll see on the next slide too, but helpdesk.sbpusa.org now directs you to Jira. So if there's an easy address you can navigate to if you have tech issues. Other things we're going to be doing is rolling out the Scribe AI SOP tool for the larger organization, branding Chrome, custom Chrome homepages for staff at AmeriCorps, and cleaning up report types within Salesforce to make that data more accessible. The other thing that was brought up in this meeting is tech tips. So Kyle, can you click? So there's desire to learn more about our current and existing processes. Kyle, can you go to the next slide? So this is an outcome of the tech committee. It's the idea is that we all have access to tools that we're not using. So this will be a recurring feature in staff and all team meetings where I or Chanel or Brittany or Joe, members of the tech team, will share additional tips for you about things that are already accessible to you. So this time I'm going to share with you several things. One, that helpdesk.sbpusa.org will get you to the Jira ticketing portal. Just a reminder there that AmeriCorps members have access to this too. So this is now an easier way to share this with them, and that everyone should be able to create their own tickets and receive the help that they need in a timely fashion. The other thing about the new email signatures is we've been having like a small issue where depending on what the settings were on your signatures previously, you may not be seeing that new signature on reply emails. So this here is like a recommendation for how you can fix that essentially by navigating to your settings and making sure that both your reply and your new email use signature are the same. Also, just like a brief reminder that downloading Google Drive for desktop is going to make it so much easier for you to navigate Google Drive. Some of you may know that we're moving to Google Drive as our main file storage system, and downloading Google Drive for desktop is a complete game changer for navigating it. It just looks like your file system from the rest of your computer. You can save files there. You can, it'll show you, like if you've used Dropbox before or other collaborative software, it'll show you if someone else is in the file. And it'll allow you to open and save files in their native format. So if you have an Excel file and click on it in Google Drive for desktop, it will open in Excel. So definitely recommend that. There's also instructions at the other thing that I want to mention to you guys, staff.sbpusa.org/technology. I'm going to have Kyle share with you the staff resources page is now accessible at staff.sbpusa.org. And as of like this meeting, the custom homepage has also been launched. So I wanted to encourage you guys to take a look at it. It has this will end up being everyone's like down the line as we implement more changes to our Google account. This will be the homepage in everyone's Chrome. But you may have also noticed yesterday that a couple calendars popped up for you. If you look at your calendar view, there's going to be you now have staff birthdays and anniversaries at the top of each day. There's also a national events calendar, and holidays were added to your calendars as well yesterday. And then if you scroll up, Kyle, there's a slideshow that I've added. If you click on the link right below it, if you add images to that folder, they should appear in the scrolling gallery the following day. So hoping you guys can share some awesome SBB picks and that we can keep this going, and maybe I'll clear it out every month or something and we can see what amazing things people have to share. There's also some like quick links to things that we've discussed, and again, all of the original resources that were here before. And if you're not familiar with this page, I highly recommend navigating there. I think there was something else I was going to tell you guys about it, but I'm really excited about this. There's huge potential for adding more things. For instance, the weekly operations updates that Dulcie has been sending out. This could be a place for them to live, including the most recent one. Announcements can be shared at the top of the page, all kinds of cool things. So more things to come here. Again, this is like both an outcome of the tech committee and an outcome of like just general tech change, and more things to come. So happy to share that with you guys.
Fantastic. Sorry for the delay. Thank you so much, Kristen. Really awesome, great work. Love it. So with that, wanted to provide some HR updates and some forecasting. And let me just make sure that I have my notes. Okay. So upcoming holidays. Really, we're in a little bit of a holiday desert right now, but then it will be a holiday dessert later on towards the end of the year. Specifically for those of y'all who know me, pumpkin pie, because that is the best pie there is, no doubt. But Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd is the next upcoming holiday, so all team members have that day off. Lunch and Learns, wanted to talk about some upcoming Lunch and Learns. Kristen actually is leading two back-to-back-ish Lunch and Learns on July 25th, a really cool one that I'm interested in, leveraging AI and ChatGPT. And then she'll present again August 16th around preserving equity. So thank you, Kristen, for leading those. And then September 16th, we are looking to have a day in the life of ... essentially transformational department team members. So like share our disaster recovery fellows, advocacy/disaster assistance program team members to really understand to help the organization understand, what does their day-to-day work at SBP look like. So the next thing on the list is our hurricane response, and this is not a major thing, but I will be sending out before the end of the week a note essentially to supervisors, both AmeriCorps supervisors and staff supervisors, really just talking about a policy related to how sites should, or how supervisors should communicate during a disaster. Specifically, if we are in, or if the site is in the path of a hurricane, what is a supervisor's responsibility as far as communication and keeping in communication with their team members? So we already do all of this stuff, but I just wanted to make sure that we have like a solidified set of expectations. So please be on the lookout for that. And then last but not least, some really great transformational growth updates for the team. So first is our headquarters renovation. For those of y'all who either work in New Orleans and have visited, or people who have come in and visited the headquarters, you know that we share a shared office space with some offices out in surrounding the shared office space. And what we have realized, and part of our investment in you, our people, is that we really want to expand our headquarters to create a more optimal work environment. So starting in August, we're going to expand into the downstairs space of our headquarters building. Right now, a company called ViaLink is there, and they will be moving out. And the renovations will essentially occur throughout the end of the year. This effort has been led by a committee and informed by your input. So thank you to all the New Orleans staff members who completed the survey, identifying what your needs are. Our goal is to create a space that serves both daily team members and then also those who visit less frequently, with a view towards future growth. So please note that these renovations are expected to be completed by the end of Q4 this year. So really cool. For Ava, I totally understand sweet potato cheesecake. That sounds amazing. And now I'm hungry for lunch. Great choice on pie. All right. So another really great announcement is we are rolling out, or soon to be rolling out, a new staff merchandise store where team members can purchase an incredible assortment of branded SBP gear. We heard your feedback wanting more options for branded merch, and so we're soon going to be rolling that out. A huge special thank you to Caitlin, Anya, Elizabeth Egley, and Courtney, who spent a considerable amount of time, energy, effort in creating this new site. And in a moment, Courtney is going to provide a more detailed explanation of the new merchandise store and kind of the policy around it. And we'll also follow it up, of course, with an email. But I am excited to announce a special gift for all of our staff members in the audience out there today. So if you could take a moment and look under your chair, you're going to see, I don't know, probably nothing, maybe a cat, I'm not sure, but pretend that you have a new branded SBP backpack. Those are on their way to headquarters, and they should be out to team members within the next 2-ish weeks. So between 2 and 4 weeks, expect a really cool Thule backpack is the brand. Love them. They're really cool. So please be on the lookout for that. And then Courtney, I would like to invite you to run us through the policy and kind of the more details around the merch store. And I'm actually going to pull up the test pilot merch store. It'll look almost identical to the real one, just so people can see kind of what it looks like while we're going through this. So Courtney, I will ask you to go ahead.
Absolutely. Kyle, I almost looked under my chair, and I'm in my kitchen, so I don't know why, but I almost looked, and I'm in my own kitchen in my house. But okay, so yes, very, very excited to be rolling this out. Again, a lot of things that I'm about to explain are going to be in the policy and the email that's going to be sent out. We are looking to officially launch the store August 1st. So in a couple of weeks, and Kyle is scrolling through all of the fun things, some socks, some backpacks, some water bottles, notebooks, all kind of things. So how it's going to work. So initially, when we launch on August 1st, every staff member is going to receive a $75 credit, like promo code. And you can use this $75 in this store on whatever you want to use it on. After the $75 for the launch, every January 1st, so annually, yes, Juliet, that's an SBP hat. I know you like hats because every call I'm on with you, almost every call, you're wearing a hat, girl. So I know you like hats. But starting every January 1st, we are going to do a $50 allocation. So you're going to have the $75 to start on August 1st. And then every January 1, you are going to have $50 that you can spend for the year. Again, what I'm about to say is going to be in the email, but the codes do not roll over. So the $75 that you're going to get, you're going to want to use it by December 31st. It's not going to roll over into the next year. Same thing in January. When January 1 comes and we give out the $50, you're going to want to use it by December 31st, because it's not like the unused funds will just continue and continue, right? It's going to be one time each year. So if you don't use it, I mean, you'll get another 50, but you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get 150 or something like that. The promo code that I'm going to be sending out is for that set amount. So let's just say you're putting some awesome swag in your cart and your total just happens to be, $76 after taxes and shipping, then you'd have to come out of pocket like $1, right? But if you put some awesome swag in there and your total comes out to like $65 or $66 or $70, whatever, anything under 75, you don't have to pay for, but the 75 is the full amount. So after taxes and shipping, if you're a little bit over 75, you'll just have to pay out of pocket. So that's how it's going to be. And again, this is the rollout. So we're going to be seeing how this works. Hopefully codes and everything will work, but just keep in mind, if it doesn't work with us, work with me, we'll fix whatever. So that's for current staff members. And just so you guys know, no one's a new hire. Well, we have some new hires, but everyone on here is currently like a staff member. But what we're also going to do for new hires, Kyle and I put together a new hire kind of welcome bundle. And so this way, when new hires are going through their onboarding, one thing I'm going to do is send them a new hire kind of welcome bundle. The bundle, we are keeping it simple because once January hits, they'll have their money. So the bundle will just be, I think we included just a mug, the branded notebook, and I think a t-shirt. So that way everyone can start with a t-shirt. And it's really great. So now I would go into the system, put their address in, it'll ship to them. they'll get it before their first day, all excited to join SBP. So that's how that's going to work. And then they'll get their $50. So we are so excited to roll this out. Should be August 1. And just really quickly, like Kyle said, I just want to give an extra shout out to myself, Kyle, Elizabeth Eagley, Anya, and Caitlin, because we've been working on this. I literally think our first meeting was in like March or something, y'all. Anya's shaking her head. So and extra special shout out to Caitlin. She's the one who, y'all, she got us going. I mean, she got us going. She spent some time here as well. You know, it's easier to come in on the end when Caitlin got it all together than I can come in and do my little thing. So shout out to them. Very, very excited. And that's everything. Kyle, really quickly, I saw Will Martz in the chat. So if we want to give him a little second to get his shine on and give us his answer, if we have some time, I don't know. But I did see that he's in the chat, so I think his mic is working. But yes, excited about this rollout too.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Courtney. Really appreciate it. And I will circle. Let's see. Will, I know you did chat. Is your microphone working now? No. Okay. All right. Well, we will that's totally fine. No worries. We will get your answer later, and I can't wait to hear it, and we'll send it out. Fantastic. Thank you, Courtney. Really appreciate it. Okay. Two more things, and then we'll move on to some great shout outs. Wanted to discuss annual performance reviews and performance bonus. As part of our ongoing efforts to enhance our human resources processes and really drive that transformational change that we've been working on at SBP, we're making a strategic shift in how we conduct annual performance reviews. So effective this year, we're transitioning from conducting annual performance reviews on each employee's work anniversary. So staggered, like everybody has essentially a different day of their annual performance review. We're moving to a unified schedule. So all reviews will take place in January. This change is designed to allow us to utilize an entire, a full year of personal and organizational performance data to assess achievements and areas for growth while we align what with our current commitment is to being planful and intentional about performance management. So expect that. Scheduling all performance reviews in January is also really important for other initiatives that we're rolling out, like employee development, succession planning, and budgeting for the year. So this consolidation is intended to enhance really the effectiveness of our review process and streamline our operations. With that, and because it's related to performance, we're also aligning the distribution of performance bonuses with the timing of the annual reviews. So that means that going forward, performance bonuses will be determined based on the annual performance review results, and that will be reflected in the February 15th paycheck. So this adjustment reduces the time that supervisors and team members have to spend completing a performance assessment, and it's just focused on the annual performance review, which we believe these changes are really going to benefit our team by providing clearer, more timely feedback, and rewards our team members for hard work and dedication throughout the year. So please be on the lookout for further communications about this, including detailed guidelines on the process as we approach the end of the year. And then finally, last but not least, and to close us out, some exciting news about 401k transition. As y'all may or may not know, for those of you who are currently participating in the 401k, we are with a company called Principal. Today, I'm really excited to share that we are moving away from Principal to another provider called Fidelity, effective September 1st of this year. The move is a significant milestone in our commitment to providing the best benefits and support to our team member, and as part of our transformational growth. So Fidelity will offer far superior services and resources than Principal, making it easy for people to plan for their future. Additionally, we're partnering with essentially like a finance advisor, Bank Plus. They're really a retirement consultant and administrator to enhance our plan's health and provide educational support. So you will soon see more employee education around 401k and retirement. So really excited about that. This is an opportunity for us all to re-energize our retirement savings. So if you're not yet participating, now is the perfect time to start. And even better news, I'm really excited to announce that starting on this next paycheck, so at the end of July, we're going to increase the employer match. And so what that means is, and sorry, this is a little bit of a harder way to say it, but what it currently is 50% of an employee's contribution up to 4%. We're going to change that to 50% of an employee's contribution up to 6%. So essentially, if someone puts in 6%, SBP will match 3% instead of the former 4% and SBP match at 2%. So this is really designed to incentivize people in saving for retirement and utilizing the plan. So we will send out a much more detailed set of information about this, which will go over all of the things that you would need to know. I did see a question in the chat. Do we need to transfer our balances from Principal to Fidelity? Heck no, we're going to take care of that for you. And further, part of that, oh yeah, thanks, Nicole. There will be a transition email coming out here shortly. The investments that you may or may not know your 401k money has, or how it's invested, will be invested in similar type of things in Fidelity. So it essentially will be very similar looking, with the added benefit of having all of the support and education and resources from both Fidelity and from Bank Plus. Whew, that was a lot. So with all of that being said, thank you all for your attention. I want to move us on to the close of our meeting today. And so for those of y'all who are new to SBP and haven't seen shout outs before, this is a time where we can call out our team members for being fantastic, living our values. Maybe they did something to help you. Maybe you saw something that they did that just rocked your socks off. You can put it in the chat if you want to shout them out, or even better, you can take yourself off of mute and just shout them out. So I would love to hear someone go first. Who's going to lead us off?
Hey, Kyle, Reese here. Could I lead us off?
Please.
I'm not going to try and name every single person's name, but if you were involved at all with Miss Connie's welcome home party yesterday, whether Caitlin, who led a series of incredible planning meetings, or the comms team, who put together as good a run of show and talking points as we've ever had, to whether you were one of the team in Florida who got that house into such amazing shape after a tree had fallen through it, who worked with an incredible local contractor who got that work done. Every single person was a part of Miss Connie's experience. And yesterday, when I heard her on the verge of tears describing what a professional organization she had dealt with and how much hope had been delivered from every single person that she talked to at SBP, or SB Project, as she called it, which I've loved. It really, really, really made me so proud to be a part of this team. And so I want to shout out everyone who got together on that welcome home party, but really everyone who's operating RAF, everyone who's dealing with clients. You can't imagine the difference that it's making in the lives of the people that we're helping out there. So just thanks to everybody who made yesterday's welcome home party such a huge success.
Love it. Fantastic, Reese. Thank you for that shout out. And I did want to mention one thing. I don't know how I took the reactions off of the meeting today. That was not intentional. So if you were looking for the reactions buttons, they're not there. I don't know why. I will fix it for the next meeting. However, I did see some people raise their hands, and maybe that was like, yes, I support. Uh-oh, now I see a thumbs up. And clapping. Okay, apparently I did not take it off. Okay, never mind. So Tosha, I did see that you raised your hand. Was that, did you have a shout out? Did you have a question?
I hit the wrong tab.
Oop, I don't think I caught that. I'm sorry.
I'm having some technical issues, Kyle, so I
Oh,
do
got you.
for that.
Oh, no apologies necessary.
I have a
Gotcha.
shout out. I have a shout out.
Go for
I
it.
want to shout out really quickly Brandon. He is our Kaizen people team leader, I think is the name. But he's been great. He's been really great. He keeps us very engaged. He is keeping this very organized. You know, the people, you saw our little list of like, we have about 8 things in there. We probably started about 76 of them. So, I mean, he's done a great job with just keeping us y'all, we gotta focus. We know we want a lot of stuff. Like, what we gonna do here? So, but he really, Brandon has been such an amazing leader for this team. And our executive leader is the boss too. Kyle Carson, let's go. But yeah, Brandon, Kyle, y'all are great.
I would like to jump in next and just thank the Florida build team, starting with Jill, Steven, I know Angelina formerly, who were working in the Panhandle after Hurricane Michael, were able to kind of extend themselves to service the Hurricane Ian program and get that off to a wild success. And then to Cam, Dara, and Leanne for kind of following suit, coming in and supporting and seeing that work to conclusion at the end of this month. Massive props, both in running the state program, but also in doing a traditional OOR and helping hundreds of families. So just wanted to offer my appreciation and the appreciation of everyone here at SBP for really coming together and kind of seeing that work through to the completion and the benefit of all of those hundreds of clients.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Andy, for that shout out. Elizabeth, did you have a shout out?
I do. The shout out is to you, Kyle. I wanted to thank you for the beautiful email that you sent out to everyone this morning. I feel like I needed to hear that, and it was a meaningful gesture, and I really appreciate it. And then I have a shout out to Josh Bryant. Starting to work with you as a partner and a colleague on a project, and just to say, as Reese put it, the force is strong with you. Thanks for just being such a great partner and problem solver. And that's all.
Fantastic. Thank you, Elizabeth.
I have a shout out. Couple.
Please.
One to Dulcie, because she's jumped in to help DAP in our process flow. Super grateful for all of her insights and knowledge and expertise on that as we're moving our way forward and improving. Shout out to Kristen and Brittany for helping us secure a new call center. Had struggles with their old one, so this new one looks so promising. Really grateful for all the time they've taken in that. Shout out to Thomas as he's transitioned from into his new role and taken on all of these new programs, including DAP and the trajectory that we're going in now. And then just a big shout out to my team for all their hard work as we are buckling down, getting appeals out.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire. And also, if y'all haven't seen the chat, there's a bunch of great shout outs in the chat as well.
Big shout out to Kenneth Morgan in New Orleans for all the work and support and willingness to host the AmeriCorps CEO visit next week.
Thanks, Mike. Brian?
Yeah, just kind of following on Reese's, but for Florida RAF, the logistics of this offsite have been really unique. We were meant to be operating statewide and have ended up just in Volusia County. And Alex Spear, our project manager, and Angelina Hines, one of the case managers, have really borne the brunt of those logistical hurdles. And they've done it with a smile and with still really good service to our clients while traveling back and forth on an almost weekly basis with last minute adjustments to scheduling for houses that are 2 hours away from their homes and our office. So just, yeah, they should really be appreciated for setting the stage for RAF's like early success here. And we're excited to bring on new team members and lighten that burden on them, but they've really launched us into a space where we're set up to succeed for the rest of the year.
Brian, thank you so much. Shannon.
Thank you. Just a quick shout out to Claire, Hannah, and Nicole for helping get together last minute during very busy weeks for all of them to get a quick response out to one of our donors on a proposal follow-up. So thanks for that. And then a thank you to Anya, Thomas, and Kyle for your help with getting our charity navigator in order. Just really appreciate that. Again, it's these like side projects sometimes that seem a little bit annoyingly time consuming, but I hopefully will make us more visible and will bring more funding our way.
Awesome, Shannon. Thank you so much. All right, any other shout outs before we wrap up? Going once, going twice, going three times. All right, y'all, thank you so much. What a great meeting today. Thanks to everybody for your attendance and for the participants who presented. Thank you for your time and putting that together. I will, as always, upload this into the internets. And then for anybody who might have missed or wants to rewatch portions of it, I'll send that out as well. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your week and take care, y'all.